All right, so we're just going to be going over Bitcoin here. First of all, I want to touch up on some economic events that have taken place that have definitely had an effect on Bitcoin. So obviously we have four main ones here. So we obviously have the Bybit hack, the Trump administration's trade and crypto policies. We also have the proposal of US crypto strategic reserve, and we also have a positive one that El Salvador has continued to adopt Bitcoin. Starting things off, we had this Bybit hack. Basically, it was considered the largest known theft in crypto in the crypto industry. It definitely dented the investors' confidence as to the reason why you would have seen Bitcoin dropping, because basically what this has done is weakened the security, for like psychological security for most investors, and investors will see this sort of thing happen and think, well, this could happen to me, let me get out of my crypto now. So a lot of people have been selling, which we will go onto and show you the chart after this. But yeah, that's one pretty big reason as to why we are seeing Bitcoin drop. Another one is the Trump administration's trade and crypto policies. So he's introduced a few policies since his inauguration on January the 20th. We've seen a decline for Bitcoin over 13%, dropping from around $106,000 to $92,000. It's caused concerns over the administration's unpredictable trade policies, because they're just bringing policies out sort of willy-nilly. No one really knows what's going to come. No one really knows what's going to take place, especially Trump. He's quite a volatile person, especially to be in as a president. So that's definitely taken an effect. It's increased fears of global inflation and slowed economic growth. There's a lot of talks on the American side of things about recession. Recession probably won't happen just because of the strength of the dollar. However, it is definitely been heightened. The fear has definitely been heightened. So there's also some uncertainties surrounding the administration's stance on cryptocurrency regulation. So that's why you can see the volatility increase inside the market. Moving on, it's the same sort of thing. Proposal of the US crypto strategic reserve. So basically, he's aiming to include cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. The reason why you would have seen basically in this initial announcement obviously pushed price up. If you was inside XRP, ADA, even Bitcoin, we all saw somewhat of an increase after this announcement. However, the thing is, with an announcement like that, the market always tends to correct itself. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time, the market will correct itself after an economic news event. And obviously, this economic news event was a plan, an announcement of a plan to establish a US crypto strategic reserve. So basically, he wants to make a Federal Reserve, but in the crypto side of things. And then the positive for Bitcoin as of right now, El Salvador's so continued Bitcoin adoption. So El Salvador have announced the purchase of additional Bitcoin, increasing its holdings to over 6,100 coins. So this is obviously beneficial for investors. They see that people like of the likes of El Salvador and other countries included are definitely adopting and continuing to adopt Bitcoin. They approved a $1.4 billion program for the country, which included stipulations regarding Bitcoin's status. Despite these conditions, El Salvador's government proceeded with its Bitcoin accumulation, signaling continued support for the cryptocurrency. So there's definitely some benefits out of these and some positives. But now we're going to go ahead and get on the chart and really sort of dive in as to what has happened and what we could potentially see. Okay, so here we are over on our Bitcoin chart. So first things first, obviously we are seeing some sort of level constantly respected here. We've tested this level many times. Obviously it was an all-time high not long ago, sort of late last year in around the middle of November. We've then seen price sort of come back down to test this area as a support, indicating to us that this is a point of interest that we want to take into account. And as you can see, we are currently testing within this level. You can see the retracements from all the news and stuff that I've spoken about. This is the sort of the break of structure here. If I just go ahead and sort of mark this in real quick, right there, that was sort of our break of structure. If I just put this in for you and just put it into the middle. Actually, we'll just put it over to the right. So that's our break of structure. We had a break of structure, and then price continued on bearish. We saw price then come towards our 200 moving average a couple of times and sort of respect this area, indicating to us that there is still some sort of foundation that is holding gold up, Bitcoin up. So with that being taken into account, we're going to go down to our hour 4 and just going to sort of go down the time frames here and just sort of have a look as to what is happening. So again, we have that continued level of this sort of level here, where we can see price has tested as multiple times as a support, and what we are doing right now is we're seeing Bitcoin test this level as somewhat of a resistance. Price is definitely, if I go to minute 5 real quick, price is definitely testing around this area significantly. If I go ahead and just sort of make this put this box into a visible across all time frames sort of thing, we can do this like this. Bang. Right, so if we go down to our, for example, minute 15, we're currently testing within this box, within this point of interest here. So it's definitely a level that we want to take into account. Going back to our daily now, though, obviously, as this is the overall projection for Bitcoin, what we could potentially see. So you've seen that the bears have definitely pushed price down. So obviously, this initial drop here is down to the people sort of seeing, investors like you and I sort of seeing the news and seeing the people seeing the increased fear among sort of the crypto community, and people have sort of let that fear get to them and decided to short. That's the reason why you see this initial drop here. If I go ahead and just grab this right here, that's why you see this initial push down. It's quite a steep push, and that basically is just a lot of people selling off, a lot of people getting out of Bitcoin. But however, the thing is, as you can see down here, this is sort of like an order block. This is where a lot of people now will be buying Bitcoin, as they can see it is a significant retracement. Like if I was to zoom all the way out for Bitcoin right here, as you can see, we are sort of seeing the same sort of thing that happens really when we hit all-time highs. Obviously it was a little bit different here, but it's the same sort of thing. You see the all-time high created, you see a few touches, and then price sort of breaks back down, and then everyone sort of starts talking about crypto again. Everyone starts talking about Bitcoin, and people see it as a good opportunity to invest into Bitcoin. So with that being said, that's the reason why we're now seeing this bullish momentum, because price is definitely pushing out of this level. We are probably going to see Bitcoin push through this level, but that's the reason why you're seeing this little battle between the buyers and sellers as of right now, is because of so you had the increased amount of fear, which was here. You had increased fear, you had the Trump policies and some other stuff, and then here you see sort of the confidence and the comeback into Bitcoin, with like the likes of like El Salvador announcing that they're still going to continue to adopt Bitcoin, Trump announcing that he's going to make sort of a crypto Federal Reserve. So there's a lot of plans for Bitcoin amongst government side of things, and obviously the government will be the strongest holder, as they will most likely hold the most Bitcoin, especially in comparison to investors like you and I. But yeah, so right now we're testing this point of interest at around 91,000. Price at this level is definitely going to stagger. If I go to a minute 15 real quick, we are sort of breaking out through it, but there's some minor levels that will need to be cleared. Like for example, this level here, we'll need this level cleared, and then we'll also need this high cleared as well at around 94,000. Going back to our daily then, and resetting price scale. So we just sort of need those levels, this sort of level secured. So if we can see price break through this level, and price breaks through this level around 94,000 to 95,000, the most likely thing that we might see is price sort of continue up to go and test that previous all-time high. If I just go ahead and put that in for a green arrow, just so you can understand what I'm talking about. So this is potentially what we could see. Obviously the thing is with Bitcoin, it depends a lot on the majority emotions of investors. If people don't like the look of the economic events and other things that are happening around the world, people are likely to sell their Bitcoin, and then potentially get in at a later date. But there's a few points that we want to take into account. So we want to see a break of this level. So we want to see a break of structure here, and then we want to see price sort of surpass that 95,000 level, and then go ahead and push past this trend line that we have marked in, which is definitely holding price down, and then this 50 MA here as well. So if we can see price sort of surpass through this and this level here, we most likely will see a continuation for Bitcoin. Obviously it depends on investors, because the only thing that really makes Bitcoin go up is when basically when people buy Bitcoin, the scarcity of Bitcoin increases, so the rarity. So if you understand, there's only 21 million bitcoins were made, with around 2 million of them are lost as of right now. That's why you see a lot of people mining Bitcoin and people just sort of stumbling across Bitcoin, which is quite fortunate for them. But that's basically how Bitcoin works. So Bitcoin will go up if people are buying, and it will go down if a lot of people are selling. So that's sort of just how it works, because obviously the more people that are selling Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin becomes available within the market, and then that then decreases the price because the amount that is available is increased. So the scarcity or the rarity of Bitcoin becomes less. It's the same with anything really, diamonds, gold, other material like physical material assets. It's the same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing with currency pairs as well. But obviously, as you know, with currencies it's a little bit different because currencies are printed. There's no exact amount. And that's why crypto is so special, especially Bitcoin, because there is only a set amount of Bitcoin in the world. Like for example, eventually only with 21 million Bitcoin, let's say 21 million Bitcoin there wasn't any lost and anything like that, eventually there will only be 21 million, there's only going to be 21 million people in the world that can actually own a single Bitcoin. So with that being said, overall analysis is going to be, we're waiting for price to sort of break through this level here. So break a structure through this level of around 91,000. The second break will be 95,000, and then the next break will sort of be back into that 100,000 mark. If we can get price to sort of come into this area here, anywhere from here, if I just sort of grab my arrow, anywhere in this price range here, we will most likely see bullish momentum for Bitcoin and price continue. If I go ahead and just go to our hour real quick, you can see price is definitely trying to make its way out here. Obviously, we had this small little push out here where price sort of came up above it. We saw price come up above it, test a couple times. We tested as support, but then price broke structure back again and then continued on down. So there's a lot of things that can happen for Bitcoin. The uncertainty around Bitcoin and the fear around crypto is definitely increased at the minute. But once price sort of starts creeping back up, people's confidence will grow, the fear will lessen, and Bitcoin in turn will go up as more people will get back into Bitcoin. For example, here, like we just spoke about, this sort of like order block, people would have seen this substantial or this significant bearish move here, this drop here that we're talking about, coming all the way down to around 82,000. There would have been so many orders here. Like for example, if I just sort of escape real quick and just sort of do a volume indicator, let's just find a random one. We'll do this one here. So if I go ahead and just sort of look, as you can see, the price we saw in terms of like, if I zoom out here, look, in terms of volume and volatility, you can see that obviously throughout this section, most of the positions that were being held inside Bitcoin was bearish. However, as you can see now, if I just sort of make this a little bit bigger, as you can see now, we are actually still on the bullish side. We're just seeing retracements. Obviously, if price does break down below this, it's going to be dangerous for Bitcoin. However, the thing is with crypto, once we see Bitcoin hit an all-time high, people are always going to sell. That's just the psychology of traders and investors. Like for example, you're in Bitcoin, let's say you bought at 60,000, you see Bitcoin hit the all-time high of around 109,000. Of course, you're going to want to at least cash some out, if not all of your crypto out, because the risk is definitely high. But yeah, that's going to be our overall analysis for Bitcoin. Just need a few breaks. We need sort of, if price can break into 95,000 area, the confidence and the psychological benefit or the psychological effect on the investors will increase, the confidence will increase, fear will lessen, and then overall that will increase Bitcoin's price as people will continue to buy Bitcoin. Obviously, as you understand, a lot is traded. A lot of Bitcoin is traded. That's the reason why you'll see sort of like blocks like this, not a lot of volume, but these big blocks is entirely down to price, and this is entirely down to people selling Bitcoin, being in tune with economic events that are taking place around the world, and just sort of their profit while they can. But yeah, overall analysis for gold, for Bitcoin, is definitely going to be a test of that new all-time high, and then eventually we will go onto our 120,000 area. that will be our next point of interest for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go up. It's inevitable that Bitcoin will eventually hit a new all-time high. It just depends on when. Obviously, this retracement is very, very significant, and as of right now, we are definitely pushing away from this level of around 82,000. Obviously, this drop from around here to here from here to here is 13%. It's a 13% decrease for Bitcoin. So it's positive as of right now. As you can see, we are up. If I look up here, we are up around 1% today since the increase. So it is definitely positive for Bitcoin. It's just based on the psychological effect on investors like you and I, and then obviously bigger investors. But as long as the governments and other sort of world influencers, if you would, continue to support the idea of Bitcoin and continue to adopt Bitcoin, price will continue, because like I said, the scarcity will increase. Therefore, a lot more people will see that and they'll want, okay, I want to get into Bitcoin, I don't want to miss out, and a lot of people will invest and just in turn buy more on a retracement. For example, here, like we see in this order block, the reason why this would have pushed back up is because the amount of people that saw this retracement for, hang on a second, Bitcoin was at 100,000 a month or two ago, now I want to get in at 82,000, and then price will continue on. So yeah, that's going to be that for Bitcoin. New all-time highs are definitely inbound. Just got a few levels to sort of take into account. If we see this price respected and sort of price continues around this area, we will just see price sort of vibrate between these two levels with multiple orders being filled here. A lot of people, as of right now, will be will speculate the market and sort of think, okay, cool. So if price comes back down here, I'm going to buy more. That's basically what's going to be in the average person's mind for someone that wants to get into Bitcoin. But yeah, that's going to be that. I hope you've enjoyed. Peace.